A very good Sunday afternoon to you. You're watching KTN Weekend at 1. My name is Najma Ismail. Now, relatives and friends continue to gather at the Chiromo funeral parlor to try and identify bodies of their loved ones who died in the Garissa attack. This morning, 8 bodies were positively identified, bringing the tally of the bodies that have been identified to 28. 147 students died when terrorists attacked the Garissa University College on Thursday morning. Chief Government Pathologist Johnson Oduor yesterday indicated that the process of identifying the bodies was being complicated by the nature of the bodies, some of which are badly mutilated and decomposed. Now, the government has lauded the efforts of the military on Thursday last week, saying their quick response and coordination led to the successful end of the siege. Speaking after visiting injured military officers at the Forces Memorial Hospital in Nairobi this morning, Deputy President William Ruto underscored the need for Kenyans to remain united in the face of terror attacks and not to allow to be divided on religious grounds. Ruto also pledged government assistance for the victims.
Many of the officers and security personnel I have talked to were there as early as 6 o'clock. The ones we airlifted from Lamu and other areas were there by 8 o'clock. And I think that was absolutely a wonderful response to the situation that occurred to our country.
As hundreds of students at the Garissa University College scampered for safety during the attack, one man was busy pulling students to safety through an adjacent fence. Linda Ogutu tells the story of a man who still remembers with pain the agony on the students' faces as they crawled to safety.
When it became evident that lives were in danger at the Garissa University College, everyone took off, running away from the gunshots that had rented the air since 5:30 in the morning. At the university, students were looking for a way out. The terrorists had blocked all exit points and were shooting indiscriminately. For some of them, the only way out was through a fence that is adjacent to the school, and they took it. Many of the students were just from taking their morning shower. The attack gave them no time to look for their clothes as they sought to save their lives. Nudity was no longer shameful. Many would meet 50-year-old Ibrahim Ali Haji, who pulled them to safety through the small opening on the fence, but his heart still aches when he thinks of the ordeal of the young girls who are running away from death itself.
Through as they are rolling on their chest. And that is a very serious issue when a girl is naked.
Ibrahim looked for wrappers, commonly known as lassos, to cover the badly shaken girls. And even as they crawled naked to him, Ibrahim was grateful for one thing.
Suppose this wire up and down could have been alive.
Ibrahim says some of the students died as he and his friends tried to save them. But all is not lost, he says. God helped him to save what he now calls his daughters. Linda Ogutu, KTN.
Now, at least 5 people are feared dead in various parts of Bondo sub-county following a heavy downpour that caused havoc in the region over the weekend. Eyewitnesses said Miruka and Ochot dams overflowed and burst their banks.
The rains have just started, but it will still continue. So we have this depression here, but whenever it rains, the rain, that temporary river will overflow, and quite a number of people will be swept again. So I want to caution, particularly border people that are going towards Barkowino through the Slaughter Road, to take precautions. If it rains while you are in Bondo, please stay until the water subsides.
Nilikuja hapa mimi saa 2 nikapata tu maji imejaa tu sana, nikarudi saa 5 ili nipate tu hata kama maji imefunguka, but saa hizi sijaona brother.
Lori ingine tukipata hapa, hiyo lori imejaribu kuvuka ikakwama pale katikati, na sisi pia tulikuwa tunajaribu kuvuka. Wakati tulisimama pale, wengine walikuwa wanajaribu kuvuka, wakapata kama maji imejaa mingi, wakarudi. Wengine walikuwa wanataka kuvuka, wakavurutwa na maji.
So I want to take this opportunity to really say sorry and to wish the families that have been affected in one way or the other. We are going to be part of them. We will be together with them in terms of the burdens of the funerals where we can.
Relatives and friends continue to gather at the Chiromo funeral parlor to try and identify bodies of their loved ones who died in the Garissa attack. This morning, 8 bodies were positively identified, bringing the tally of the bodies that have been identified to 28. 147 students died when terrorists attacked the Garissa University College on Thursday. Chief Government Pathologist Johansen Udwar yesterday indicated that the process of identifying the bodies was being complicated by the nature of bodies, some of which are badly mutilated and decomposed.
What began as a siege in Garissa 2 days ago has now culminated into tears and wailing for the families affected. A long queue stretches into the reception at the Chiromo mortuary. 144 bodies have made their way here, and among them is the lifeless body of 21-year-old Selfa Wanga. Her family has just identified her remains, and they say it's a painful discovery.
I remember soon alikuwa ameniomba brother, sijamaliza fees na tunakaribia exam, kama uko na pesa tafadhali nitumie 2k, nitumie 2k. Alafu hapo mimi nikamwambia sahi niko na 300 shillings, ambapo nyumbani sahi ukikolu madhe ni kama tu punishment. There is nothing anaweza kusaidia.
And that is the last time her brother Augustine ever got to hear of her. They now mourn the loss of a girl they say went out of her way to get her family out of the stranglehold of poverty.
It's a girl that during vacation, she could move up and down and perform the duties of a maid to raise money so that she can have shopping and go back to the university.
This amekuwa kama msaidizi maishani mwangu, kwa sababu kama kuna anything pertaining as the family at home, kama madeni mgonjwa, kama amepata helebo yake loan, kama amepata angetumia madhe home ndaende hospitali.
A narrative that runs through the now sad realities of many of the families here today. Only 20 bodies have positively been identified, with post-mortem examination for the remaining bodies set for Tuesday.
So we'll take fingerprints for the ones who cannot be identified, then we can be able to generate the biodata, yes.
But as other families wait for that, the Wangas commence burial preparations. Timothy Otieno, KTN.
Welcome back. Christians thronged churches today to join other faithfuls in marking Easter Sunday. Easter marks the resurrection of Jesus Christ and is the foundation of Christianity. Kenyan athletes under the Professional Athletics of Kenya movement have launched an anti-doping campaign. About 500 elite athletes, led by former world marathon record holder Wilson Kipsang, faulted Athletics Kenya for doing little to sensitize athletes on the dangers of using prohibited substances. The move comes a few months after 3 times Boston Marathon winner Rita Cheptoo tested positive for a banned substance in what put Kenya across the international criticism. PAK officials say they will fast track the sensitization process, which will include regular and structured visits to training camps and ensure they work in line with provisions of World Anti-Doping Agency.
Kama Mungu amekujalia siku moja uwe eat clean and say no to doping. Say no to doping.
Well, that's it on the weekend at 1 this afternoon. My name is Najma Ismail.